Hey friends, welcome to the channel. Right now, in late March 2026, the crypto market feels like a massive, loud party. Everyone is drinking champagne, staring at Bitcoin's green candles, and trying to guess which dog or frog coin is going to do a 100x today. Retail investors are intoxicated by easy money. They are entirely focused on the hype, the memes, and the loud tweets. But do you know what is happening at this exact same time behind closed doors? In the soundproof boardrooms of Wall Street and the data centers of Silicon Valley? Nobody is laughing there. They are engaged in the quiet, ruthless work of rebuilding the foundation of the entire global economy. Big capital is building bridges between the two most powerful technologies of the 21st century: global finance and artificial intelligence. And at the center of this invisible revolution sits one specific asset, an asset whose chart the retail crowd often calls boring, an asset ignored by gamblers, but which is currently being bought up by multinational corporations. I am talking about Hedera Hashgraph, the HBAR token. Today, I am going to pull back the curtain on the two most massive narratives of 2026 that popular influencers are keeping quiet about. You will find out why Hedera's inclusion in the ISO 20022 standard is a death sentence for the old banking system. And most importantly, the most shocking part, we are going to break down the merger of HBAR's infrastructure with decentralized neural networks, primarily with the giant Bittensor or TAO. I will show you how artificial intelligence is starting to use Hedera for settlements, and why this will lead to a supply shock that will send the price of HBAR into the stratosphere. Let's start with the first fundamental shift. If you ask a regular crypto bro on Twitter what ISO 20022 is, they will probably shrug or yawn. It sounds like a boring banking term. But to Wall Street, it is a magic alphanumeric code that governs quadrillions of dollars. What is the old SWIFT system that banks have used to transfer money for the last 50 years? It's a messaging system. It sends very short, dumb messages. Bank A sent Bank B $1,000. That's it. No context, no details. Because of this, payments get stuck, blocked by compliance, checked manually, and can take days to clear. The world can no longer operate like this, and the global financial system has agreed to transition to a new standard, ISO 20022. This is the communication language for next-generation money. This standard allows massive data packets to be transmitted alongside the payment, what the payment is for, who the ultimate beneficiary is, what taxes have been paid, and what customs declarations are attached. These are smart, heavy, data-rich transactions. And this is where classic blockchains run into a gigantic problem. Try cramming a heavy ISO 20022 data packet into a Bitcoin or Ethereum transaction. The network will simply choke. Blocks will overflow, and the fee for a single transfer will skyrocket to hundreds of dollars. Banks need a network that can digest tens of thousands of these heavy, smart transactions per second, and it needs to cost pennies. And who is fully compliant with the ISO 20022 standard? Hedera Hashgraph. Officially. At the architectural level, the Hedera Token Service and the Hedera Consensus Service were built to integrate perfectly with this new banking language. What does this mean for us in the spring of 2026? It means that as central bank digital currencies, commercial banks, and payment gateways migrate their infrastructure to these new rails, they don't need to reinvent the wheel. Hedera offers them a plug-and-play network that already speaks their language. They take a digital dollar, euro, or pound, wrap it in the ISO 20022 standard, and send it across the Hedera network. Speed, 3 seconds. Fee, strictly fixed at 0.0001, and a 100% guarantee of transaction finality through ABFT. No forks, no rollbacks. Hedera has become the legal digital bridge for old money, and for this bridge to operate, banks need network gas, and that gas is paid exclusively in the HBAR token. Banks are great, that's trillions of dollars, but it is only half the picture. To understand why HBAR will become the most scarce asset of this decade, we need to look at the wildest, most exponential trend of 2026. Artificial intelligence. If in 2023 and 2024 we were just playing around with chatbots, asking them to write poems or draw pictures, in 2026, neural networks have become autonomous. We now have what are called AI agents. These are programs that make decisions themselves, search for data themselves, make purchases themselves, and conduct business on your behalf. Imagine a scenario. Your AI agent, which manages your company's logistics, realizes it lacks weather data from the Pacific Ocean to chart a course for your cargo ships. It finds another AI agent, let's say from IBM, that has this data. How does one artificial intelligence pay another artificial intelligence for this data? It can't walk into a bank, open an account, and link a Visa card. Programs don't have passports. They need digital, programmable, borderless money. They need crypto. But they can't use Bitcoin, it's too slow. They can't use Ethereum because the AI agent needs to buy a micro packet of data for 5 cents. If the network fee is $2, the entire economic model breaks down. Artificial intelligence needs a network that, number 1, processes micropayments instantly. Number 2, charges 1/10,000th of a cent for it. Number 3, scales to tens of thousands of transactions per second, because there will be millions of these AI agents making transactions every millisecond. You already know where I'm going with this. This is the machine-to-machine, or M2M, economy. Machines paying machines. And Hedera Hashgraph is the perfect, mathematically flawless settlement layer for this new civilization. And this is where we get to the insider information that will give any technical analyst goosebumps. The merging of ecosystems. As you know, the premier project in decentralized AI in the crypto market is Bittensor, or TAO. It is a global, decentralized brain, a network where thousands of neural networks from all over the world compete, learn, and provide the best AI product. TAO is the brain. It is the intellect. But any intellect faces a crisis of trust. How do you know that an AI from Bittensor isn't hallucinating? How can corporations verify exactly what data this neural network was trained on? How do you protect against data poisoning? The brain needs an incorruptible memory log, and developers realize this. A colossal synergy is taking place. Bittensor's intellect is starting to use Hedera's trust infrastructure. How does this work in practice in the spring of 2026? Every major decision, every dataset that passes through Bittensor subnets, receives its own cryptographic fingerprint hash and is permanently embedded into the Hedera Consensus Service, or HCS. Hedera acts as the digital notary for global AI. If a TAO neural network makes a medical diagnosis for a patient, that diagnosis and the logic behind it are verified through Hedera. It is impossible to alter retroactively. It is impossible to forge. Corporations like those on Hedera's governing council, such as Google, Dell, and Hitachi, now safely buy decentralized AI services because Hedera guarantees them legal and mathematical transparency. It is the symbiosis of the two greatest technologies of the decade. Bittensor provides the mind. Hedera provides the immutable memory and the cheap rails for micropayments between those minds. And the smarter AI networks become, the more data they generate and verify, the more calls are made to the Hedera network. And every single call is paid for with the HBAR token. Now, let's bring this high-tech poetry back down to earth and translate it into the language of Moan. Why? What does all this mean for your wallet and the price of the HBAR token? Remember how the market used to work. In past cycles, altcoin prices grew almost exclusively on crowd greed. People bought tokens hoping to sell them at a higher price to the next fool. Once the supply of new fools dried up, the price dropped 90%. But in 2026, we are playing a completely different game. We are playing utility. Let's calculate the sources of demand for HBAR right now. The banking sector, ISO 20022, cross-border transfers, stablecoin settlements, CBDCs. To send millions of messages a day, banks need HBAR to pay fees. The RWA sector. Tokenization. Platforms like Atma.io track supply chains, generating millions of transactions. Every record burns HBAR. The AI sector. Integration with TAO and AI agents. Billions of micropayments a day between machines. Verification of neural network logs via HCS. These are not speculators. Banks, logistics companies, and artificial intelligence do not care what the Bitcoin chart looks like right now. They don't care what the Fed chairman said. They need gas to keep their systems running here and now. They go to crypto exchanges through their corporate brokers and buy HBAR off the order books. Without emotion, without panic. They just systematically, 24 hours a day, vacuum up the liquidity. And this is where the ultimate bear trap springs shut. In 2026, HBAR inflation is officially over. Over 80 to 85% of all possible coins out of the 50 billion max supply are already in circulation. The Hedera Foundation is no longer pouring hundreds of millions of tokens onto the market, like they did in 2022. The emission tap is closed. Moreover, retail investors see this potential. They take their coins off Binance or Bybit, put them on cold wallets, and send them into native staking, freezing them for passive income. Picture this. The supply of coins on the market is dropping rapidly, and corporate and AI demand is growing exponentially as technology adoption reaches critical mass. This is the recipe for a perfect supply shock. When a mega corporation needs to buy $50 million worth of HBAR to power its AI fleet for the upcoming year, the market maker opens the order book and sees emptiness. There are simply no limit sell orders at current prices, and algorithms are forced to push the price up. 30 cents, 50 cents, $1, buying up everything in their path. If you understood everything I just said, you are in the top 1% of the most informed investors on this planet. You see the picture that the crowd won't see for another year, when HBAR is already incredibly expensive. But knowledge does not make you rich. Discipline and strategy make you rich. Many of you will wait for parabolic growth, but 90% of you will lose that money because greed will make you believe fairy tales about HBAR to $10 by the end of the year. To avoid becoming a victim of your own greed, you must use a laddering out plan. Grab a notepad and write down your plan for 2026. Step 1. The return phase. Breaking the old ATH. The 0.5 to 0.6 mark. When HBAR breaks its old all-time high, the internet will go into a psychosis. Everyone will scream that we are going to space. You, with a stone-cold face, will sell 20% of your position. Why? Because by selling just 1/5 of your holdings after such growth from the bottom, you return 100% of your initial fiat investment. You've made your money back. Your risk from this moment on is absolute zero. You are playing strictly for profit. Step 2. The institutional zone. The 1 to 1.2 mark. At a price of $1, Hedera's market cap reaches roughly $40 to $45 billion. This is an adequate conservative valuation for the main corporate operating system of Web3, which works with ISO 20022 and verifies AI. Here you sell another 30 to 40%. You lock in a colossal, life-changing profit. You buy real estate. You secure your family's future. You've translated digital victories into real, tangible assets. Step 3. The madness phase. Super cycle. The 1.5 to 2 plus mark. If the merger with AI and the RWA sector triggers an insane, irrational supercycle, the price could break $1.50. At this stage, you unload another 20 to 30%. You take the excess profit from the gamblers who only just decided to jump on the departing train. Step 4. The moon bag. Leave 10 to 15% of your coins on a cold wallet and just forget about them for 5 years. This is your insurance policy in case Hedera truly becomes the replacement for the entire global internet, and in a few years, the price moves toward $5. But if crypto winter and a crash begin after $1, you won't care. You already took 85% of your money at the absolute peak. Let's draw a line, friends. We are living at a turning point in human history. The old financial system is crumbling. Artificial intelligence is waking up. And right at the intersection of these two giant tectonic plates stands Hedera Hashgraph. It is not just a coin for speculation. It is the trust layer for the new economy. It is the ISO 20022 language for banks. It is the notary for the decentralized brain of Bittensor. It is the fuel for an economy where machines pay machines. While the crowd on Twitter draws charts for meme coins and waits for a miracle, Fortune 500 corporations are quietly integrating Lehman Barrett's algorithms into their systems. You don't need to be a programmer to make money on this. You don't need to be a Wall Street trader. All you need is to understand the fundamentals before the majority does, buy the asset, hide it on a cold wallet, and coolly wait for the supply shock. Friends, I am incredibly interested in your opinion. Do you think which narrative will pop off harder? The integration of HBAR into the ISO 20022 banking system? Or the merger of Hedera with decentralized AI? What will get us to that coveted dollar faster? Write your thoughts and predictions in the comments. I read absolutely everything and would love to engage in a discussion with you. If this video blew your mind, if it revealed the true scale of what is happening with Hedera right now, and gave you confidence in your portfolio, smash that like button. For you, it's one click, but for the growth of this channel and the YouTube algorithm, it is a massive help. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. The climax of the 2026 bull market is ahead of us, and I will be your guide through all the whale traps all the way to taking profits. Keep a cool head, control your risks, and remember, wealth goes to those who buy the infrastructure before the crowd realizes its true value. Thanks for watching. Massive profits to you, Nerves of Steel, and I'll see you in the next videos. Bye!